So this film starts with Alan Strange standing near window at night surprising someone was calling someone rich. The thing to do was that on calling him a shadow also comes here who said to him that you have woke me up now you are just mine. Alan also nodded yes and did. At the next moment Alan in another world arrived where Alan and she mysterious creature came close to each other and then suddenly she started torturing creature. Elon would die before his oppression. His eye open on his bed in his world. Well, now scenes are cut from here. After many years we have to give Alan his husband. Alan sees something like this with Thomas, first married Thomas. Alan's husband is a real estate agent and today the company ordered to go to Transylvania from got him to Transylvania. Client count and find a house for lock. T count and lock. It does not do its own work. Could have been because he was quite old. Alan did not want Thomas to leave him but was compulsion to Alan before leaving friend Frederick's family. Alan told him before leaving that he would get scary nightmares nowadays. And he feels if Thomas away from him if you go, something will be very bad with him. But Thomas explained to him here that all this Alan is the face of his mind gave a locket with forces which always will remind me of coming back early. Now showed us a mysterious man goes to make your get a pentagram running a lot of lights and doing something rich. Who is this and why is it doing this? Go ahead and you will know. Well, that reached close to Thomas. Transylvania went to the local people there. Count and Lock Castle in Transylvania when asked the path of all this thing. Hearing and everyone advised him that you don't go to Count and Lock here, so taking the name of Count and Lock is also very bad. Thomas is believed to be at night. His eye comes at night. Strange noise opens out and saw that a lot of people horses a girl. The girl was taking something somewhere did not even be worn. Then the girl descended and opening a grave in a man's heart stabbed the dagger from his mouth. Thomas also opened up here and it also opened and we came to know that all this was his dream. Now his eyes were opened. So he had his journey started continuing again, but what does he see by going out or the whole village? It was strange that the village was strange overnight. Where can all people go on the way? Now his conflict would be with a Tanga car. It was Shakar that he survived this accident, but he saw anyone else far and wide. It was not probably this leg came to pick him up. He quietly sat inside this leg but his health deteriorates as soon as he sits in this leg, but still it was her effort that she somehow meet your client. Now he also accessed the counter lock. He was very dark everywhere here. The counter lock standing in front was also afraid. We looked very scary at this time. Counter lock was not shown but Thomas, it is clear from the expression of that counter lock is afraid of counter lock. You told Thomas too late me you did not like this thing and today after you will call me counter lock. Today after you will call me my lord. Now Lock offers Thomas to eat something when Thomas was cutting the break in front of him, so his finger also lost his hand. Immediately the counter lock caught and told him that I bandage you. Had to say that Thomas fainted there. After a while when Thomas regained consciousness in castle there was no Count and Lock. Count and Lock was also nervous. Then Kiss brought a contract nearby. Thomas was written in the language. Count Lock did not tell her that this we have traditional language and this it is just written in the contract that I buying a house through your company. I am just a sign on this. Just Thomas good vibe was not there but his job if it was a requirement. He signed this Thomas only his name and when Nosfila was explained there was another name for Count and Lock. And why did you write on the contract? We will know this in further contract after signing. Nosferret Count and Lock from Thomas. Locket from Thomas asked for Alan's hair to Thomas. Perhaps he would give it to see but the counter lock did not return her locket for some time. Thomas passed away from him. Now asked for locket back and asked for permission to leave from here. Then suddenly his eye opened and he could not understand what is happening to him. All that happened was his dream or was it true? It is not known at this time. On his body there was also a mark of bites someone's teeth. Seeing even more upset here while Nos is shown, which is shown something in strange language about Locket was speaking and he was again and again was taking the name of Alan across the seas. There was also a poses to do this work. After now the countdown comes to Thomas and her blood by cutting her teeth. Unconscious starts drinking and gets rid here. That Count and Lock is actually a Dracula. A vampire is Alan. On the other hand if it turned, the Dracula with his powers was posted in view of his condition. Thomas's friend's family is very upset when he called the doctor. The doctor also brought all and they felt probably Alan has some mental failure. As soon as Alan came to his senses, she started getting upset with how Thomas did not know it will be because Thomas went for a long time was and Thomas has so far any letter to him if not written. Then Thomas his life on the same side trying to save when nose turned if he is here and there. He shown trying to escape from castle. Now the doctor who came to treat Alan he had to have a doctor of any other patient treatment is shown and this patient it is what we have in the start Of the movie make scope in your own strange way he saw the whole room doing richness I was made strange drawings yes, that too and opposes condition to Dr. Frederick explains that my lord is Count Unlock as soon as he said this. The doctor above Frederick attack as if he takes his blood wanting clearly meant that Dracula Kenny was a slave to Count Unlock used to collect the blood of humans for this time that is why they gather more blood it was because he knew the counterlock now the scene is coming soon here we are shown to Thomas that something people are rescuing Thomas of Thomas seeing the marks of, he came to know that nobody else responsible for his condition rather it is knows to treat it start and as soon as after treatment Thomas regained his senses, he stood up his heart he was feeling something strange from Ellen wanted to meet but the people here said to rest for some time but not that to meet Ellen. He got up in this disease standing on the other side is shown. That now Count and Locke also closed in your coffee Thomas has left towards the city and that is reading something along the other side Alan is able to listen to the other side the man who used to worship Counter Locke knows the Counter Locke now on the way in a ship coming to the city of Thomas we see that a lot of mice havoc have started spreading and this catastrophe now Thomas will also spread to the city because plague on wherever the Counter Locke comes that is, this rat and disease spreads this rat ship all. People present and I start killing and a man understands that these rats count and they are leaving the lock of the lock Count and Locke's coffin to kill it tries but Count and Locke here caught him and killed us on the other side it is shown to treat Alan now another doctor with Dr. Frederick for also came here on the dam when Alan tells the doctor that sometimes I feel that my soul is leaving the world leaves somewhere else and nowadays, I am the things in future let's know about it already. Sometimes I do not understand that with me what's happening I heard such voices give someone speaking in my ear. Ho but what he is saying to me not come as well as very scary she dreams also used to come from whom he always got up used to go to Alan while talking health deteriorates and emphasis in his body shocks start coming from this time Dr. Frederick would have a loud non-dal he is not able to feel pain and they understand that at this time too soul left this world and went somewhere else. And from here he also got an idea had taken that Alan did not have any mental illness it is rather some other power posed for him when the doctor has said this. Another doctor, if they told them and Thomas's friend, he was not ready to listen to him people leave from here and at midnight suddenly Alan regains consciousness as soon as she comes and goes towards the door and open the door where she sees that Alan is lying unconscious on this point it is shown that the ship of Counter Locke is also reached the port of this city in poor condition had done all the rats as soon as they came let's start spreading in this city and here the man who worshipped Counter Locke he used to do it quickly with his cell went out to meet the Counter Locke goes on the other side of Thomas and now Dr. Frederick Thomas has been treated the days of the city were now getting worse the rats had spread the disease throughout the city people were dying. There is a shortage of food here while there was counter law. And it's we are able to hear the words of slave where they I was saying that I forcefully for force my can't take me to do something like this will be that Alan himself to go with me if the slave agrees. He tells him as your hucum no sphera is here and here we know no sphera in Latin language so vampire is called that's why he no sphera was written in the contract to the city on the other side instead of Count and Locke death of increasing people Dr. Frederick and all his doctors are troubled. Puts into the doctor checks that the bite of rats on the body of these people there were also marks as well as a person there were also cutting marks and these people, there was no complete blood left in the body drinking the blood of human body it is not about that in all this connection wanted to talk to slaves of Counter Locke but he disappears before his cell had done it on the same day on which the naval when the furnace came to this city. Every passing now Thomas also gets scary dreams with the day he was engaged and he was in dream Alan also tells to go away poses got up from their bed and window goes near and gets any shadow from him this shadow comes for anyone else rather it was no Sviha only who gave Alan told that Thomas gave Alan knows has sold and he also signed a contract Alan did not be ready to accept this was and really Thomas sold him to someone there was no knows Efredo by deception he was really signed on the contract to hand over Alan to him was he now tells Alan that you have it is just 3 days and you have the same choice or you come to me or you or your loved ones that is, lose Thomas and your family where but if no's turned, he would also say a very strange thing he says to Alan. You also know that you are not a whole person and humans you can't spend life together you come to me with Sharafat life will become easier in response Alan she says that now I love Thomas the first and Thomas in my life at this time no one can come after all. These things Alan's eye opens and we let's see all this in Alan's dream. There was a friend of Thomas, the wife was lying on her whole body, mice had bitten and it was very Frederick was more creep. He was very sad on his wife's death, and here the lion also tells Alan that a person has a bite marks on the body. Alan understood that 9 is the work of night. But she can't say this to Frederick because Frederick has all these things. There was no two friends of Enon. Thomas here, why do you like me when he does not? He answers, you doesn't hate, but I am childish. I do not even do it on things that you do drums and do this. At point he tells Alan that you and Thomas can now go to your house on the other side. Now it is shown that Dr. Frederick is now the same. The place has come where the slave of Nos Puritan, he used to live here. About Nos Pirate came to collect information, and Finley he gets a book in which wrote about Mahatma Na Ff reliefs used to do it, where Nos the rat and the Waba spread there goes and people kill, destruction goes and the city is destroyed, and all this it goes on until the nose turns. He does not find his demand person. I miss Alan's disease now. That understanding went that the vein has come behind Alan, and now Alan as well as Thomas also threatens life. I am immediately Alan to tell this thing, and now goes to Thomas here. Thomas, whose health had become a little better leaving this city after seeing the poor condition of the city, decides to go, and Alan. At this point Thomas, the biggest truth of his life, she decides to tell. She tells that no Sphera has come to this city and that only came after me. He told that I had some psychic powers due to which from me to other entities other than humans she could talk to them and could talk, and I used this power. This is the same scene called on the nights we have seen in the start. Is that before marriage I have done nos fat rado. I had a contract in which you were handed over to you, but then me you met. You in love with you and I married you, and in all this I forgot her promise from navel and navel. Now get me fulfilled your promise. Alan's health has come. As soon as it has come to tell all this, her body starts to shock, go to the eyes, turns upwards, understand that she was completely posted, and despite seeing his condition Thomas does not stop taking care of him, i.e. he had no meaning with Alan today. He was also living and he loved Alan today. He hugs Alan loudly and he promises that he never will leave, and both of them here for a long time. Dr. Frederick on the other hand, which by researching to finish the nights they were, knowing that nos F non there is no other way to finish apart from Alan. Apart from Alan nobody can kill nights. Next day it is reported that Thomas's friend's wife's wife along with his children were also killed. Now Thomas and Alan on their funeral from the same web, both came where Dr. Frederick Thomas, he said that now the time has come. They plan to eliminate that. They open the coffin of the day, stab her in her heart, after which he will now meet Alan. They know that it means naval nights. He has a big character of Alan here, told Alan that you have your incomplete work has to be completed, and I Thomas during this time I will earn with me, i.e. Dr. Frederick's plan was not what he Thomas Discus was doing some scenes here and was running the next day that Thomas Dr. Frederick and other doctors to find the coffin of Nos Efrato. They have gone out. Where they also get to know is that Thomas's friend's suicide. This news broke Thomas badly and sorrow gave them on the move from here. Full's mission to them. While at home it is shown that Thomas Allen decorated like a bride after leaving goes to Finley Thomas and his companions. Even if you get a coffin, it is found people stand inside that coffin and their side. If you kill Nos, they kill. Opening the coffin shows that inside it Nos was not only but Nos here Fijo was a slave, and we know that if Nos turned, whom to call at this time, and where has he actually gone on calling Alan. Alan of Alan went to Alan as soon as Alan Nos turns near. She says to I want to fulfill my unfinished promise now. I am now yours now. If he turned, he hugs him and is stabbed on chest and starts drinking blood. Nosferatu Alan's blood does drinking, and drinking is lost, and in the morning sun goes out, and not even realizing this thing on 9 rough nights, having been a 9 rough night near Alan window standing up with sunlight. No Saphira is not there. It starts burning and slowly he but also dies. As soon as he dies she was free. As soon as she went to bed lie herself died because inside it all the blood was drunk. As soon as Thomas comes home, he turned her nose along with Alan's corpse also meets the bed, and seeing this Thomas breaks down completely. It was shown that as soon as Nos turned dead Baba's hole from this city was there. As soon as he died, the whole scene of the city was also over. The city magically disappeared from, and that's all. Showing this movie would end here. If you liked the story, then like the video, and if you are new on the channel, then subscribe to the channel. Subscribe and hit the notification bell to be the first to get the next update.